Prime-time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening and welcome to Primetime Local News. Saskatchewan is reporting 4 new cases of COVID-19. There's 1 new case in each the North Central, Central West, Southwest, and South Central zones. 36 cases are considered active. 4 of those are in the region that includes Lloydminster and North Battleford. 3 people are in hospital, 1 of those in intensive care. 4 more people have recovered. Schools across the province are eager to welcome back students to the classroom after several months away due to COVID-19. Connor Chan has more on the excitement from one elementary school and what we will see going forward.
For schools like Father Gorman Community School, the excitement of a new school year comes with extra elation after being closed for several months due to COVID-19.
We teach. That's what we do, right? We welcome kids back. So we did online learning, and that was good because we like to deliver the program to the kids then. But this is what we do, right? We have children in the building, we welcome them, and we deliver education.
The students will see a different learning environment as classrooms are set up within government guidelines. Directional patterns will be in the hallways and other physical distancing measures both inside and outside the building.
In terms of recesses, we know that we can stagger those recesses so that we can reduce the amount of children that will be going through those boot rooms, just so that everybody's got a little bit of space. Our playground will be zoned as well, just so that each grade has their own zone within that cohort. They can then go out, and we know they're a little bit safer, so we're looking forward to welcoming kids back.
The first week will see schools in half capacity with students whose surnames start with A to L attending on Tuesday and Thursday, while students M through Z will come in on Wednesday and Friday. Regular classes with full capacity begin on the 14th. Young says starting the year off this way is necessary for students to understand the process moving forward.
If we focus on that within those first 4 days, when we have everybody in the building, we know that they completely understand those processes to keep everybody safe.
Parents who need any more information on their child's school plan can go to their school division website. Connor Chan, Primetime Local News.
As the start of school is just around the corner, the Lloydminster RCMP want to remind residents around the border city to keep an eye for students and school zones.
I'm joined here with Constable Michael Hagel, and he is with the Lloydminster RCMP. Now, back to school time is just around the corner. What are some tips that you would give students to stay safe around this time?
As always, when you're crossing the street, make sure you're looking both ways. Left, right, and then left again. Just double checking that you're making sure you are seeing cars coming.
And what are some tips for parents around this time as well?
School buses are going to be going again, and watch out for those the red stop arm on the school bus. Make sure you're watching out for little ones crossing the street because, like we all know, they're not really paying attention.
And what are some tips for students who may be biking to school?
Wear a helmet, wear a helmet, wear a helmet. If you are going to cross the street, make sure you get off your bicycle and push it across the street so you are a pedestrian.
And maybe for drivers who aren't aware, what are some penalties if they are, speeding in a school zone or something like that?
So right now there's a zero tolerance policy in the city of Lloydminster for speeding in school zones. Anyone exceeding its maximum speed limit of 30 kilometers per hour will see either pulled over by a police officer or stopped by photo radar.
And around this time of year, do you see more photo radar and tickets being handed out?
It depends. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you will, just because everyone is not used to the playground and school zones being back in effect. So you might see a small uptick, but for the most part, people are pretty aware of the school zones.
And what should drivers keep an eye out for? You mentioned students running across the road, but what are some other things that they might want to look out for?
Well, make sure you are watching the school buses. Make sure you're being very aware of where the bus stops are in the city. Make sure you are aware when you are going through a school zone that kids are very excited to be home, to be back at school, and they want to see their friends. They might be darting onto the road. Make sure you're just pushing your eyes down the road, looking in between vehicles and watching out for pedestrians.
And is there any tips that the RCMP are saying at this time in terms of COVID and just things like that around like playgrounds or things such as that?
Make sure that you are maintaining your social distancing and wash your hands when you come in. We've been very fortunate in Lloydminster that we haven't seen too many COVID cases, but I think that's because we're doing our part to keep apart.
And is there anything else that you really think that you want to add?
You betcha. If you're riding your bike to school this year, make sure you are wearing that helmet. Make sure you are looking both ways when you cross the street. Get off that bike to cross that crosswalk. And drivers, slow down a little bit in those school zones.
Thanks for
Perfect.
joining us today, Constable Hagel.
Thanks, Jasmine.
As we head into the Labor Day long weekend, SGI is reminding drivers to stay safe while out on the road. Jace Mackey spoke with Tyler McMurtry to get some safe driving tips.
I'm joined today with Tyler McMurtry from SGI. We're going to be talking a little bit about some tips to stay safe while on the road during this Labor Day long weekend. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today, Tyler.
Always happy to talk to you.
So SGI put out a press release today just reminding drivers to stay safe. One of the first things I saw in there was that, heavier traffic during long weekends can increase fatalities. Can you just talk, or crashes? Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, when we see the heavier traffic on Saskatchewan roads, with that comes increased risk. And so it's one of the things that we always want to remind people before long weekends, especially long weekends where people might tend to travel. And of course, we're getting to the end of summer, so people might be trying to squeeze that last little bit of a road trip or a little bit of fun somehow into their weekend before kids go back to school next week. So we definitely want to remind people that when they head out on the roads, they're not going to be the only ones. There's going to be a lot of other people out there too. With that increased traffic comes increased risk, and there are many ways that you as drivers can keep yourselves safe even when the roads are a bit busier than usual.
So there were four kind of main topics that came out in there, and the first one was slow down. So can you just go a little bit into why is it important to slow down?
Definitely. So when you're heading out on the long weekend, you've got somewhere to go. There's that tendency maybe to go a little heavier on the gas pedal than you need to, but just remember that it's a long weekend. You've got lots of time to get there, and you should definitely obey those posted speed limits and drive appropriate for the road conditions or the weather conditions if you encounter some that are less than ideal. The other thing that you want to definitely keep in mind is the fact that it's harvest season. So we're going to see more farm equipment on the roads as farmers are moving their equipment from field to field. Drivers will want to slow down, give those folks space when they see them, and be prepared for the unexpected, because that farm equipment is sometimes it can't signal their intentions. You might not know it's about to turn left into the field when you pull it to pass it. It might be a little wider or longer than a typical vehicle. So you definitely want to give the farmers plenty of space. Again, it's also construction season, wrapping up construction season across the province. Many construction projects are well underway. So if you come upon an orange zone, you're going to see reduced speed limits in many cases and other hazards present in that orange zone, and many times workers as well. So we want to keep those folks safe. They're working to build and fix our roads and help keep us safe and traveling on well-maintained highways. They deserve the respect of us obeying those posted speed limits. It's also really important for your pocketbook as well, because those fines for speeding in construction zones are extra expensive, and you don't want to get one of those. That would wreck your weekend, probably put a really lousy cap on the end of your summer.
Yeah, for sure. And the next one is drive sober. Can you just talk a little bit about driving sober?
Yeah, we're always going to talk about impaired driving because it remains the number one killer of people on Saskatchewan roads. Now, we have seen some great progress in this province over the past decade, and particularly over the past few years when it comes to reducing impaired driving. But the fight isn't over. We still see police catching between 300 and 400 impaired drivers every month, sometimes more than that. Across this province. So there are people who haven't got the message yet that it's never okay to drive impaired. What we want people to understand is that, when you get behind the wheel and you're impaired, you are putting yourself at risk, you're putting others at risk, and there's never a good reason to do it. There's always a better choice than to drive impaired. And we really encourage people that if their weekend plans include alcohol or anything else that may impair you, just make a plan beforehand. We're not telling you can't go to a friend's house, have a few beers, crack a drink at the barbecue, that kind of thing. But you can absolutely make a plan for a safe ride home and do it before your plans start.
And one that makes sense that it's on the list, but I was a little surprised, was buckle up. I think, in 2020, I feel like it's kind of common sense to put your seatbelt on before you go, but can you just talk a little bit about that issue?
Jace, you're absolutely right. I wish we didn't have to talk about it, frankly. It's been more than 40 years since seatbelts became the law in Saskatchewan, yet we're still seeing police catching hundreds of drivers every month in this province not wearing their seatbelts. It's a bit mind-boggling to be quite frank with you. You might think that it's common sense, and for most of us it is, but for some people, I guess that common sense isn't as common as it should be. But if I have to say it again, I will. Buckling up is the simplest, easiest thing you can do to reduce your chance of being severely injured or killed in a collision. And keep in mind that even if you think that you're the world's best driver, you are sharing the road with a bunch of other people. And I haven't met a driver yet who thought every other driver on the road was a fantastic driver. So you need to be prepared for the unexpected. And doing up your seatbelt is one way to start.
And the final one here is just drive, not, taking away those distractions. One that I think is very common these days is distracted driving. Can you just talk about some things that people should do, maybe even with their phone, before they even start on their drive this long weekend?
Yeah, definitely. There's a ton of things you can do. And keep in mind, most of those distracted driving tickets, the very expensive $580 for a first offense distracted driving tickets, most of those have to do with phone use. So we actually put together a little instructional video about 5 things you can do before even starting to drive that will keep you from getting a ticket, keep you from being distracted by your phone. You can hand it off to a passenger, you can put it in the glove box, you can put it in a bag or a purse, you can throw it in the back seat, or you can mount it on the dash. Now, that last one, it only applies if you're an experienced driver. If you're a new driver, you can't use a phone whatsoever. But if you're an experienced driver, you are allowed to mount it on the dash, use it as a GPS, play songs off of it. Use those voice activated functions though, or the one-touch option, and just activate Siri and tell Siri that you want her to, play your road trip playlist, and then hit the road and just and concentrate on what's in front of you and what's around your vehicle. Don't be looking at your phone, because even if a road trip is stretching out a little bit, there's plenty of ways that you can get in a collision if you are looking at your phone for extended periods of time. It's really just a terrible idea, and it's also a very expensive mistake. The other thing about distracted driving, it's the leading cause of collisions that cause injuries. It actually injures more people than impaired driving, if you can believe it, and it causes more collisions as well. So don't drive distracted. It is a bad idea.
Perfect. Well, thanks for taking some time to talk with me, Tyler. I hope that some of these tips, people will take them into account, and we'll have a safer long weekend on Saskatchewan roads.
Hey, Jace, it's always great to talk to you.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Take a look at temperatures right now. 19 degrees right now with some cloud coverage coming in our way right now. We are starting to see less heavy winds compared to what we saw over the last several days. We see winds coming in from the west-northwest at 18 kilometers an hour. As we take a look at other temperatures currently in our region, we also see 19s in Vermilion, Marwayne, and Cold Lake as well as in Vegreville, 20 in Bonnyville, Lac La Biche, Pierceland as well. And then out in Edmonton, 22 degrees right now, but right now for Provost and Macklin, Provost at 22 and Macklin at 24. 22 also we see in North Battleford with 19 for Green Lake, Meadow Lake, and St. Walburg as well. Here's a look at the satellite radar map right now. Nothing too crazy in terms of precipitation into our immediate area there. We do see some of those cloud coverage, as we do mention, coming in, but the showers are possibly going to be coming in later on into the long weekend, maybe onto the Sunday and Monday areas. But as we take a look at North Battleford, overnight with 9 degrees with cloud coverage, and then tomorrow 24 degrees the daytime high with a little bit of cloud coverage, but mostly some sun with that high of 24 degrees. Overnight we see Cold Lake at 11 degrees with the overnight temperatures there, and then 18 degrees tomorrow for them with a chance of some showers to follow suit. And then for us here in Lloydminster, we also could see some showers starting a little bit earlier as we anticipated there, so it could carry over into several days onto the weekend there. So 22 tomorrow with possible thunder showers as well. So here's what we could see over the next 3 days. So like I said, there's a 40% chance though we could see some rain there. 13 on Sunday with that low of 7 degrees, and then low of 2 degrees on Monday with that 9-degree daytime high for the Labor Day Monday there, with mostly sun and a few clouds. But that is a first look at your weather forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
Welcome back. The Lloydex is ready to host large events once again, announcing the Stockade Roundup will be returning this November. Eric Bay has more on how it all came together and what this year's event will look like.
It's an event months in the making. Planning for the 42nd annual Stockade Roundup began back in the spring when COVID shut down the Lloyd X. Restrictions have kept the doors largely closed, but the committee was determined to put on its first major show since March.
Definitely a little more planning and a couple more challenges in the planning process this year than typically. We just felt it was really important for our egg industry and our community to be able to put something on for our producers, since it's so important for them to have a venue to market their livestock.
This year's roundup will look different with social distancing measures and public safety in mind. However, the X believes they have enough room to accommodate a crowd.
Definitely top of mind through all of our planning, but we feel that we have the space and the knowledge and resources to make that all happen, which is going to be great. So definitely around the barns, things won't look that much different, just to make sure spaces and walkways and things like that to allow people to move through at a safe distance.
The roundup comes at a good time for the X, which is dealing with financial issues caused by low event numbers.
For us, this is huge. It has been quiet around here for months, and we don't like quiet. So we are so excited to have, a building full of animals and people, and just kind of get that sense of community back.
Breeders are also thankful to have a place to show their livestock, with many shows across Western Canada postponed due to COVID.
That was the one thing that really kept us motivated, was the calls, the emails, the texts that we were getting, asking if it was going to happen, and just kind of the desperation for us to host something. That has been great, and since Tuesday, since we released it, my phone hasn't stopped ringing.
Plans for the Stockade Roundup will be fluid leading up to the event, as the Lloyd X deals with changing COVID restrictions. The Roundup will provide the X with a blueprint moving forward, hopefully allowing them to host other marquee events in the future. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
Now we'll take a look at your egg prices. A year ago today, the Lakeland Rustlers men's and women's soccer team were kicking off the 2019 season. This year, the ACAC has pushed fall sports till the spring. Our Evan Kenny reports.
In the average year, Lakeland Rustlers soccer coaches would be getting their teams ready to take the pitch for the opening weekend. This year, coaches are 6 months away from that mindset.
I've been part of the CKSA for the last 10 years, coaching and playing, and for the last 10 years, I've been doing preseason in August and playing games in September. You know what I mean? So to not have that, for that to be until into the spring is weird and different. But I'm also understanding. I understand that, hey, we're in a pandemic right now, and we need to be safe, and we need to be smart about it.
It was announced back in June, fall semester sports, including golf, cross country, and soccer, would be pushed until April 2021. The ACAC announcement came just days after the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association canceled fall national championships and announced a year of eligibility would not be used.
It is an amazing thing for first years. You get to come, you get to be coached by me. I have good experience of coaching. You get to train all year. You even get to play in games. And you don't lose a year of eligibility, you still get to play 5 years. Oh man, for a first year, that should be a dream.
Last season, the men's team finished in 5th place, going 4-7-1, while the women's team finished 6th, going 2-9-1.
So I have 1 third year, I have 1 player that stayed in again for a 3rd year, and I have 8 second years. 8 second years. Man, that's big. That's big, going from 3 second years to 8 second years. That's huge for me. I feel like that's huge for the team. I still was able to bring in 17 players. I have 17 girls here right now that are training every day with us, and the team is still looking good.
As of now, the ACAC plans on starting 2 semester sports in January 2021 with exact start dates to be following. Evan Kenny, Primetime Local Sports.
Now our Connor Chan will take a look at your weather forecast.
All right, thanks very much, Jasmine. Taking a look at temperatures currently right now, still sitting at 19 degrees for our daytime highs. We move out west, we see temperatures sitting at 22 in Edmonton, 23 for Edson, Rocky Mountain House, and in Red Deer with 25 out in Jasper, 20 degrees for Whitecourt, 21 in Athabasca. As we move over into Saskatchewan, 22 for North Battleford, 21 in Saskatoon with 19 degrees in both Prince Albert and in Melfort as well. Over up in the northern areas of Alberta and Saskatchewan right now, 15 for La Loche and Buffalo Narrows, 17 in La Ronge and in Flin Flon. We also see 15 degrees in Wollaston Lake and in South End as well. Uranium City sitting at 11 degrees with 12 sitting in Stony Rapids. Over in northern Alberta, 20 degrees out in Grand Prairie with 19 for Peace River and 18 for Slave Lake, with 16 for Fort McMurray and 15 degrees for Fort Chipewyan, and then 17 degrees in High Level. Now, as we move over into southern areas of Alberta and Saskatchewan, we still continue to see warm temperatures, especially in those Lethbridge and Medicine Hat areas there, with that 28 and 27 degrees right now. 25 for Calgary and in Banff right now. 24 for Coronation. As we move over into southern Saskatchewan, we also see 24 degrees for Swift Current, Moose Jaw, and Kindersley, as well as we see 23 out in Estevan, and then 22 degrees out in Regina, and then Yorkton sitting at 18 degrees. Now, here's what we currently see, in the rest of the country right now. 19 for Winnipeg, as well as in Quebec City, with some cloud and sun mixes there. Toronto sitting at 23 degrees. 19 also for St. John, with Halifax sitting with some cloud coverage at 23 degrees. Edmonton, we see, as I mentioned, 22 degrees. They have a little bit of cloud coverage and some sun, as we could see some showers in that area, and they could make its way over to our area, whereas we do have a 40% chance of getting some thunder showers for tomorrow. But 22 right now for Vancouver, and then 13 degrees in Yellowknife, with 12 degrees out in Whitehorse. Now, this is what we could see for tomorrow. 22 degrees, the common number we're going to see around the area here for those that are out enjoying the long weekend, enjoying camping, going for a walk, doing all kinds of outdoor activities just before the kids go back to school on Tuesday. 22 we'll see tomorrow for Lloydminster, Vermilion, Marwayne, Vegreville. Wainwright sitting at 25, with Provost at 26 tomorrow. Edmonton at 20 degrees, a little bit cooler out there. 27 for Macklin, and then 22 also in Maidstone, with 24 degrees for North Battleford. 18 degrees tomorrow we could see for Bonnyville, Cold Lake, Pierceland, as well as in Meadow Lake and Green Lake as well. And then 16 degrees for Isle Lacrosse tomorrow as well. As we look over, we could see also 16 degrees for Lac La Biche, and then 19 degrees out in St. Paul. So here's what the next 7 days could be. We're going to start to get a little bit cooler as we get into Monday, as we see 13 degrees for Sunday, and then 9 degrees on Monday, with a fairly cool day with a low of 2 degrees. We'll have a low of 0 on that first day of school, with that high of 14 degrees, with a little bit of sun and cloud mix there. Then we get a little bit warmer as we get into later parts of the week there. 19 degrees on Wednesday, and then 24 on Thursday, and then 20 degrees on Friday. We usually get the averages now towards 19 degrees for the high and 6 for the daytime low. But let's look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more primetime local news coming up after the break.
I'm speaking with Jessica Lafreniere, sales manager for Beachcomber. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. R&D Plumbing and Heating and Beachcomber is expanding. Can you elaborate a bit more on why this decision to expand right now?
Yeah, so we strive for the best quality products, and no matter what product line we have, and Hamel's Meats was honestly just a no-brainer to have them join in.
And what can people expect with the addition of Hamel's Meats to the expansion?
Honestly, it's going to be a one-stop shop. So along with our smokers and our barbecues, we honestly want everything here. And Hamel's Meats, we've got sausage, pork chops, briskets, steaks, pretty much a lot of their options we carry.
And can you tell me more on where the meats are coming from exactly?
Yeah, so Hamel Meats is in Bonnyville, so we've expanded and brought them here. So a lot of people know Hamel's Meats, and they do a lot of fundraisers. And if you don't know Hamel's Meats, we're giving you the opportunity here now to check it out and get some good quality products.
And now with COVID-19, what safety precautions have you all taken to avoid this virus? And now with having meat products in the store, of course.
Absolutely. So we're constantly taking safety precautions here. Sanitize as soon as you walk in the door. We have masks available if anyone would like to wear them. We also are always checking our meat temperatures. They're all pre-packaged, so there's nothing that will be handled by bare hands. We also have gloves here in store, so we're definitely making sure we're taking all the safety precautions that are needed during this time.
And why exactly do you believe this addition is such a big deal for Lloydminster and surrounding areas?
I just find Lots of people have to travel. Hamel's Meats is very well known, and they're traveling to either Cold Lake or Bonnyville, and we just wanted to bring that product here, make it faster. They come in, say, a weekend going to either the lake or they're just staying at home. They can come here, grab their pellets, their barbecue accessories, and then Hamel's Meats here are just right in the store.
And do you believe with this expansion, residents will show more support at the store?
Absolutely, I think so. I think a very important thing right now we've learned, especially during this pandemic, is to support local, and that's a big thing that we are about as well, being local especially. So I think having Hamel's Meats here is just going to support that local businesses for sure.
And is there anything else you'd like to add for residents to know about during this time with Hamel Meats?
Just we would like you to come on down. We're here. We're ready to serve you. We're excited about the expansion. Anything you want or need to know, we're informed and ready to go.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jessica, and best of luck to the expansion and everything in the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Coming up on Thursday evening is the Walk of Remembrance for this year. And this year's event will be a little bit different. It's going to be held in the parking lot here at the Lloydminster. And you're invited to drive through on Thursday evening between 5 and 7 p.m. You'll receive a carnation. Carnations are going to be handed out in remembrance of loved ones that we have lost. And you'll also get a resource bag, and that will be full of some great items, including some self-care items. Thursday is the World Suicide Prevention Day, and the Walk of Remembrance is an important way to mark that. And you're encouraged to take a walk sometime during the day to mark the occasion, and also to join them here at the Lloydminster for the drive-through event from 5 until 7 Thursday evening. If you've got rhythm, you love to move, or maybe there's somebody in your house that loves to groove and they want to take a dance class, Studio Encore is ready to welcome students back to class. Registration gets underway on Tuesday, 10 a.m. You'll be able to stop by and register. You can also register online through their website, and they've got a great range of different classes. If you've got somebody in preschool, they've got a preschool program. If you want to learn ballet, if you want to learn tap, if you want to learn jazz, maybe you want to learn Highland dancing, lyrical, modern. They've got some great classes and a great way for you to get out there and get moving. Get registered with Studio Encore starting on Tuesday. More and more people are starting to get out in the field and get harvest started. And with harvest season upon us, Agland is here for you. They're now open on Saturdays, weather permitting, to help you keep going during harvest season. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, we hope you stay safe and stay healthy.
What's Open is brought to you by Northern Factory Workwear, Circle Drive East, Saskatoon, Highway 17 South, Lloydminster.
Well, joining us once again for our weekly entertainment panel is Abby St. John. Abby, lots of sad news in the entertainment world, especially with the passing of Chadwick Boseman last week. And of course, tributes are still pouring in, but I just want your thoughts on his passing.
Well, like you said, it's been a very tragic time. He passed away only a few days ago, August 28th, of colon cancer, which he was diagnosed back in 2016. Now, if you go back to 2016 and look through all the movies that he did throughout that time period, he gave us such iconic characters like Black Panther in Captain America. That was his first appearance as T'Challa and the Black Panther. And then Infinity War, Endgame, and also his standalone Black Panther movie, which is the first standalone superhero movie featuring a Black person. So that was a huge deal for so many people across the world, and it was an incredible movie that brought in millions upon millions of dollars, and it really just paved the way for young Black actors to getting into this business and to really show the diversity of Hollywood, and to even make it more diverse. So that's exactly what he did in that time period, which is incredible because no one knew that he was sick. It came as a shock to everyone when he did pass, because he kept his cancer under wraps, probably so that he could continue working and to continue giving us such iconic characters.
just to name a few more iconic characters. And of course, Jackie Robinson was another one, as well as playing James Brown on Get On Up. But Abby, the tributes are pouring in from everyone that he's worked with, and it seems like he's had such an amazing impact, whether it was on screen or off screen, working with such great actors. And of course, all the love is pouring in for Chadwick.
Yes, definitely. All across Twitter and Instagram, all over the internet, people, celebrities, they've been pouring in their support and love for the late actor, and including his Marvel cast. Robert Downey Jr. tweeted out, "Mr. Boseman leveled the playing field while fighting for his life. That's heroism. I'll remember the good times, the laughter, and the way he changed the game. Hashtag Chadwick forever." Twitter actually did retweet his post that he made, or that his team made after his passing, announcing that he has passed away. They retweeted it saying, "Most liked tweet ever, a tribute fit for a king, hashtag Wakanda forever." And along with so many other celebrities and tributes pouring in, you see children all over the world really tributing him by holding a funeral with all of their action figures, and just showing the impact of this one character that he portrayed made such an impact that it's going to last a lifetime, and it's going to be instilled in these kids' minds forever, the heroism that he did portray in his life and in his characters. He would visit many hospitals and visit a lot of sick children in the cancer ward as T'Challa, as Black Panther, to show his support, and I think that's a really huge thing for him to do, and it really just goes to show what an amazing person he was outside of his acting career.
Absolutely, and of course, his co-star in Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan, also giving a heartwarming tribute on Instagram as well. Now, Abby, of course, just before we wrap up here, he is from South Carolina, and they did say that there is a petition going around online that to replace the Confederate statue with Chadwick Boseman. So it's already gaining a lot of traction. So how likely could we see that petition fall through?
Well, it is all up to the Senate, as it is a landmark, so legally it can't be removed unless it gets approval from the Senate. But there's over 35,000 signatures on this petition to get the statue of the Confederate soldier moved to a museum and replaced with the statue of Chadwick in Anderson, South Carolina. Now, there is a long paragraph on the petition just explaining the reasons behind this, and just a little excerpt from it. He opened up many doors for many young Black people with his leading roles in movies such as Black Panther or Marshall. It is only natural that his hometown honors what he did. And they did go on saying that they don't want to see the Confederate statue destroyed, but they would much rather see it put into a museum where it belongs, and have a statue of Chadwick Boseman to replace him in his hometown. I think it should go through, just because of the impact that he made in his life throughout his acting career, and like I said before, outside of his acting career, with all the amount of support he did for the community.
Well, he definitely will be missed, no doubt about it, especially through the Marvel Universe as well as in the acting community. Abby St. John, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, taking one last look here at your weather forecast. 22 degrees tomorrow with a possible chance of some thunder showers as well. 14 degrees for Sunday as we look at Monday. 10 degrees the daytime high there. And then we look at Tuesday, the first day of school. 14 degrees the daytime high with a low of 0. So we are going to start to see fairly cooler mornings starting on Monday with that low of 3 degrees. 20 degrees on Wednesday as we warm up a little bit more. Then Thursday will go to 24 degrees with also a 41% chance we could see some showers there. And then 20 degrees on Friday where we'll get some increased cloud coverage there with that low of 10 degrees. We usually average around 19 for our daytime highs around this time of year, and usually average around 6 for our daytime low.
Thanks for joining us on Primetime Local News. Have a great night.